says, "Good morning, Chelsea. Can you work as payroll clerk, $3,000 monthly?" Okay, so now he wants me to work for him. Now this is how these Nigerian scammers get their fake checks to you in the United States. They trick people like me or Chelsea into thinking that we're working as payroll clerks. They send us labels and check files and they have us print them out and mail them. These are also known as money mules, and more often than not, they have no idea what they're doing is illegal. They just think that they're working as payroll clerks for a guy named John Valdez. But I know better, and now that I'm involved, I'm gonna burn this operation down from the inside.
Destroy it!
So John goes on to tell me that I might be sending out 20 to 30 checks every day, and he's gonna pay me $3,000 a month. Wow. Now, I have no idea if he's actually gonna pay me, or if he's just gonna use me for as long as he can, and then go find another mule. I guess we'll find out soon enough. But the first thing that you need in order to print out checks is some check paper. So I head on down to Staples and I drop 25 bucks on a whole stack. Then John tells me to head to the post office and get some free priority mail envelopes. But if I have some ordinary brown ones, those will work as well. Turns out I actually run a small business shipping books, so I have plenty of brown envelopes. Then he asks me if I have plain white paper, and I say yes. Then he asks me if I have enough ink in my printer, and I say I think so. Then he says we can begin now. Also, we're going with UPS now, not USPS. Okay, whatever. He says, okay, I will send the checks. Check your email, I sent 20 checks. So I pull it up, and this scammer has information on 20 people from all over the United States, and he's intending on cutting them a check, but he needs someone in the United States to print them out on actual check paper so the banks will cash them. He says, please print one and send a picture to make sure it's printed correctly. So I do what I'm told to earn his trust, and I print it out and I snap a picture. And he says, okay, so you're going to detach them separately. You should print the rest. Now, I'm not gonna print any more, but I'll let him think that I will. Then he says, I will forward the labels now. You will print the labels on the white paper. I also send a letter. You will put 20 pieces and put each in the package. That is all. All right, I actually printed out John's letter, and here it is. Dear applicant, kindly read these guidelines and follow the instructions. This is an instruction you will need to follow your auto wrap campaign. Payment regarding, yeah, okay, so he goes on to say you're gonna cash the check, take the money out, go buy gift cards, and then contact this guy. So yeah, it works exactly as I said it would. Well, John tells me I should drop them off today, and the last pickup time is 5 p.m. So now I only have a few hours, and if I don't deliver these checks to the UPS store, he's gonna fire me and find another mule to scam these people. So I go to work printing the UPS labels and cutting them out. Then I put on my superhero cape and I start trying to call these people and warn them what they've gotten themselves into. I figure if I have a name and an address, then I should be able to find a phone number in the public records. So I start calling. But a lot of these people aren't picking up.
Please leave your message for 5.
And a lot of the numbers are disconnected. And a lot of people are just suspicious.
Hello, I'm looking for Quanietra.
I got a hold of one lady who actually fell for this scam once already.
I put it into my bank,
Uh-oh.
and it came back bad.
And I guess they're gonna try to hit her again? So I'm not gonna be able to warn these people over the phone, so I've gotta come up with another way. So I void the checks that I've just printed out, and I throw away the letter that he wants me to send, and I draft my own letter. Dear applicant, we're sorry to inform you that we've gone out of business due to some illegal activities on our part. Needless to say, we won't be hiring you. Here's a treat to make it up to you. John Valdez. Then I drove over to the store and I bought some dum-dums and then dropped my letter with a dum-dum into each package. And I took those packages to the UPS store and they were soon on their way to their intended recipients. Pretty much the easiest job ever, and I wanted to see how long I could keep this going. So I wrote to John the next day and I said, is there any work for me today? And he said, yes, I will be sending soon. You will be dropping off at the post office today and not UPS. And I was like, okay. And he said, how many USPS envelopes do you have? And I said 10. I really don't have any, but I know that you can get these for free at the post office. And he said, okay, we need it to 40. 40? Holy crap, how many checks does this guy send out a day? And don't you think that he should make sure that I'm actually sending what he wants me to send first? But he ends up sending me 40 more pages of individual names. But he doesn't include a memo. And I said, is there supposed to be a memo going out with this? And he says, no memo. Okay, this might be a different scam, but he sends me the labels and asks, are you putting the labels on the envelopes now? So I do one, and then I send him a picture to show that I am. Wow, you very fast. Are you going to drop them off at the post office soon? Yes, as soon as I stuff them with more letters and dum-dums. I tell him yes, then he says okay, let me know when drop off. How many USPS envelopes you have left? And I say I have to get more. Yes, if you can get up to 50. 50? How many people does this guy have on the line? That's when I said, when do I get paid? And he said soon. Are you on your way to the post office? I say yes, and then I quickly package the 40 envelopes and I head to the post office and I drop them all off. And I say done. So at this point, my 20 packages from yesterday are on their way to mailboxes around the country, and there's 40 more right after that. Plus, I got another 50 coming tomorrow, but instead of John thanking me for my wonderful work, I get this message from him. Are you being serious? What is the meaning of this? And I was like, I dropped them off? And then he sends me this picture. Someone must have received their letter and texted him this picture. He said, why did you send that? What is the meaning of this? And I've been caught, so I gotta be honest. And I said, that's what I mailed to the people. He said, why would you do that? So you did the same thing today? Yes. So you had plenty of time to buy check paper and mail this out? Yes. When do I get paid? Have you taken your medication today? And I said, yes. Have you? Quit making Nigerians look bad. And he said, who are the Nigerians? And I said, don't be stupid. I'm tracking you. He said, probably you ran away from rehab. You are very sick. And I guess it is a little strange for me to spend 2 whole days buying check paper and suckers and mailing them out to strangers just for a good laugh. But I responded and I said, but at least I'm not a dum-dum. And then he blocked me after that, so I don't get to hear his reaction when the 59 other people that he thought was gonna fall for his scam write him about getting a sucker instead of a check. Well, I hope you guys thought that was funny, but so apparently scammers are going after roofing companies now. They'll reach out saying that they just bought a house in the area and they're looking to replace the roof. And they'll provide an address and they'll ask for an estimate, but they're never there when the roofers come to check it out. And I wanted to find out what's really going on. So I created a roofing company of my own and I called it Raise the Roof Roofing Company. And I got one of my friends in the roofing business to refer one of these scammers to me. And soon I got an email from Barbara, a nice looking woman who's using a stock image for her profile picture. She said, hello, I got your contact from Highest Roofing regarding the new roof replacement. Can you get back to me with your estimate? Do you have the address? And I said, hi there, can you confirm the address for me? Were you wanting to meet there? And of course she doesn't want to meet there, but she does provide the address. It's somewhere in Harrisonburg, Virginia. So with the help of my friend, I write up an estimate and I say that the new roof is going to cost about $9,900. Well, Barbara writes back and she says, thanks for the estimate. I accepted the proposal of $9,900. I've also made a deposit to a supplier who will eventually deliver some household items and furniture to the house. I just want everything to look good prior to our arrival so we can settle in nicely. But first, I'll need you to provide me with your mailing address and name to make the payment so I can have it forwarded to my finance officer to process the payment, and I'll get back to you with more information on how to proceed. Thanks for your understanding. Okay, things are starting to smell fishy, but I give her the mailing address to my friend's roofing company in Virginia. She asks, what about the name as it'll appear on the check? And I say, microphone. And then she lets me know to keep an eye out for the check, but the next day she writes me and she says, hello Mike, I hope this email finds you well. I'm sorry for the late response. It was due to the sickness of my mom that was admitted to an hospital for a serious medical attention that caused the delay. And I thought, how sad. But she says, I'm pleased to inform you that the payment has been issued and mailed out to you and will be delivered to you on Wednesday or Thursday. However, there was a little mix-up in the amount issued by my finance officer who facilitated the payment. I just got an email confirming that the whole amount of $15,750 was sent to you, which includes the balance for the supplier, $5,850, who had earlier gotten a deposit to supply some kitchen cabinets and furniture to the house. Please consider this a mix-up. Once you receive the check and it clears in your account, deduct your total amount from the money. Okay, it's a check scam. It's the oldest trick in the book. She's going to mail me a fake check and tell me to take it to the bank where they'll cash it, and then after a couple of days, the bank will realize it's fake and hold me responsible for the funds that I take out. And this is why banks make you sign the back of checks when you cash them. You're accepting the risk that if the check turns out to be invalid, you may have to repay that amount to the bank. That's why you gotta be careful with checks, especially from unknown sources like this. Anyway, Barb writes me a few days later and says, good morning, Mike. Apologies for not getting back to you earlier. I have been in the hospital watching my sick mom that just recovered from coma. I just want to inform you that the check is out for delivery to your address. Here's the USPS tracking number. Kindly let me know once you received it today. And it was delivered. So I write to Barbara to let her know that I got the check. And then she wants me to cash it as soon as possible so we can move forward with the project. So I'll keep $9,900 for me and then send $5,850 to these suppliers. And apparently her cabinet supplier is a guy named Tommy who lives in South Carolina, and she wants me to mail him the cash. Now, if you've never mailed thousands of dollars in cash before, don't expect to. FedEx or UPS won't even allow it. So I say, I don't think I can mail cash, Barb. She says, you can mail cash. You just need to put the cash inside of an envelope and seal it at home or in your car before you enter the FedEx office. Just tell them you want to mail a package, that's all. So I can mail cash as long as I don't tell them that I'm mailing cash. Sounds totally normal, but Barb wants to know if I've cashed the check. And I want her to know that I'm taking this serious. So I pull out my collection of fake money, which looks pretty real, unless you hold it under a light. But it should be convincing enough for Barb. I spread out 57 of these on a table and then I take a picture. She says, okay, I can't view it clearly here. Can you try to send me pic to my email? So I send her an email, but not just any email. I make it look like I'm sharing a photo with her through Google Drive, and I change the URL to be a redirect URL that will track her IP address if she clicks on it. And she does click on it. And I can see that she's not in Virginia. She's actually in... She says, okay, I got the picture. I want you to put the cash inside of an envelope at home and seal it, and then locate your nearest FedEx office to mail it overnight next day delivery service and get back to me with a FedEx tracking number to confirm upon receiving it, okay? So I guess I could mail this Tommy some fake cash and see what he does with it, but then the story will be over, and I'm having way too much fun. So instead, I try calling Barb. But of course she doesn't answer. She texts me and she says, I'm sorry, I'm currently in the hospital where my mom just recovered from coma. I'm here watching her. I said, oh my gosh. She said, you can have the funds sent out without Tommy's number, okay? But I said, no, they didn't let me. They said I couldn't mail cash. And she probably knew that this might be an issue. So she pivots to plan B. She says, okay, I want you to purchase MoneyGram money order now and have it sent out to the supplier info. I want to schedule kitchen cabinets delivery to the house today so that I won't be charged for late extra fees. I hope you understand now, okay? And I actually have never done a money order before, so I ask her to teach me what to do. She tells me that I buy one at Walmart and then I take it to FedEx. She says kindly have this done as soon as possible and get back to me with a tracking number to confirm upon receiving it okay. And then I said, give me 1 hour. So I go to Walmart to get me a couple of groceries and I see what it would be like to buy a MoneyGram. And apparently a lot of people are getting scammed this way because they've got monitors all over the place warning me. Now don't worry, I'm not going to buy one for $5,750. I'm going to buy one for $3 because that's the minimum amount. And then I take it home and I take a picture and I do some Photoshop work to make it look like I bought it for $3,000. All the while Barb is going absolutely crazy. Finally, I send her the picture. And she gets mad and she says, you're supposed to buy $5,750, so why $3,000? And then I hit her with a very sad story of my own. I say, I know, I'm sorry. This is why I was nervous to tell you, but my mom has also been sick and I didn't know what I was going to do to help her. So when you sent the cash, I didn't know what else to do. So I took some from Tommy, but I promise I will get it back to you. And this probably has Barb pissed, and of course I get no sympathy from her. She says, okay, have you mailed out the money order via FedEx overnight? And I say, not yet. She says, okay, I want you to have it mailed out via FedEx overnight delivery service and get back to me with a tracking number to confirm upon receiving it okay. Then she starts to get super anxious, but I just go quiet for a couple of hours and let her stress herself out. Eventually, I respond with, I'm really sorry, but I've been at the hospital with my mom, and now FedEx is closed. But I will go first thing tomorrow morning. And Barb says nothing. She must be quite upset with me. I said, I'm really sorry, but you know as well as anyone what it's like to have a sick mom. I mean, surely she should understand. But the next morning, she says, good morning, Mike. Are you up and awake? And then I hit her with more bad news. I say, yes, but we have a problem. Barb says, you always have a problem. What's the problem this time? What the hell is going on? And I explained that I was making a protein shake this morning, like I always do for breakfast, but I accidentally spilled it on the money order. I'm really sorry. I'm letting it dry now. She says, you must be a bloody liar. I say, I'm not lying. She says, how could you be so dumb to spill liquids on a money order? I said, I'm sorry, I haven't been acting right since my mom got sick last week. She said, are you r***ed? I said, I'm just a little distracted. I also have a lot I'm passing through and a lot on my head since my mom too has been hospitalized, and yet you have been taking a lot of my time here just to send the balance to my supplier. And I offer to call Tommy and explain everything, but she just wants me to go back to Walmart and get a replacement. And so I wait another hour and I tell her that Walmart won't replace a damaged money order. She said, are you at the store? I said, yes, they said they won't return it if it's damaged. She said, that's not true. Tell them you want to replace it with a new one. Don't tell them you want a refund. And that's when I came up with a great idea. I went on a Facebook marketplace and I started looking for used kitchen cabinets. I said, what if we buy some local cabinets? Some of them are pretty cheap. But she wouldn't have it. She just kept telling me to try and ask for a replacement money order. Explain to them just like you explained to me that you mistakenly spilled liquids on the money order. You can't leave the store until you get a new one. And then I said, I already left, which really pissed her off. She said, are you crazy? And I said, I was running late for church. Are you stupid or something? You must be a madman. Are you trying to run away with my money or what? I said, no, I promise. Are you a roofer or a thief? You have to get it done now or else I'm going to get my lawyer involved and report you to the FBI. And I said, please, I can't go to jail. I need to take care of my mother. She said, you will rot in jail if you refuse to send the balance today. I promise you that, and I'm out for blood. Do you think God is dumb and stupid like you are? But I was in no mood to argue. I was at church. So I said to Barb, will you pray with me? Barb said, prayer will kill you. I said, let's pray for our moms. She said, don't joke with my money. Don't get yourself killed. So I just started praying. I said, Father, please bless Barb's mom to wake from her coma. But Barb would not join me in my supplication. I said, forgive Barb for trying to scam me. Help him to find a better job in Nigeria. Barb said, who's scamming who? What are you implying? And I said, in Ogun name we pray. Amen. And Barb's like, if you have been scammed before, you can't use my money to replace you, piece of shit. You will die untimely death. You will not live to see the year 2025. You are a dead man already. Well, she didn't respond after that. And according to my watch, it's currently 2025. So you were wrong, Barb. I'm still here, and I'm keeping your money for myself. Oh, whoops. Guess I should be more careful when making breakfast. So the other day I get a random text message from a guy named John Cook who said he found my number from Indeed/online and he's currently in need of a personal assistant for a remote job. He tells me to kindly send a text or an email for details. And I thought, hey, I could use some extra money. So I emailed John and I said, hi, is this still hiring? And he says, good morning, Ben. How are you doing today? And I say, fine, how are you? And he says he's pretty good and he asked me for my number for a fast text. So I give him a number for him to reach me on and he soon texts me. He says, how are you doing today? This is John Cook. I'm contacting you regarding the job. And I say, hi, thank you for contacting me. He says, I work with the realtors as an online publisher and I need a good and hardworking assistant that can post ads perfectly online. Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist. I'll be paying $1,000 every week. Does it looks like what you can do? I thought $1,000 a week just to post ads? Sounds like a great side gig. So I said, wow, yes, of course. He said, sounds good. Do you have Marketplace in your Facebook app? Doesn't everyone have access to the Facebook Marketplace? I said, I believe so. Okay, when do you intend to start? I say, whenever you need me. Okay, kindly provide your email address. I'll be sending the post information to every day so I can have it noted down. I literally just emailed him 5 minutes ago, but I said the email I contacted you on earlier. Okay, I'm currently at a Seminole. I will contact you when I'm done in 2 to 3 hours. Thank you. So, 2 to 3 hours later, John is done with his Seminole and he emails me some information on a home that he wants me to create a listing for. It appears to be a home in Louisville, Kentucky, and the description says to contact the owner, Rick, if interested. This sounds fishy to me. I don't want to list a house from my personal account if it's going to be used in some kind of a scam, so I create a new Facebook account and I decide to post it from there. But it's not letting me post in Marketplace and I can't figure out why. My hunch is that you've got to have an established Facebook account in order to post homes on the Marketplace, because I go to try it on my real Facebook account and it works just fine. So that's what's going on. These scammers are trying to create ads to trick would-be renters, but they can't list homes with their Facebook profiles, so they're hiring Americans like me to do it for them. So I quickly delete the posting, but I take a screenshot before I do, and I send it over to John Cook to show him I did what I was told. He says, you will be posting 2 to 3 ads per day, is that fine with you? And I'm like, sounds good to me. He says, for more information about the house, direct all inquiries to the email in the post information. Tell them to text the owner, Rick. Direct all inquiries to that number. And then, strangely enough, a few minutes later, I get a text from Rick himself. He said, hello, how are you doing? This is Rick, the owner of the house you posted. Oh boy, the boss is reaching out to me. I better be on my best behavior if I'm gonna make my way up in this company. But he says, I just got your number from John. Did you have it posted on Craigslist? No, I wasn't planning on posting it on Craigslist, but I better get on it in order to show that I'm a dedicated worker. So I said, I am working on it now. And he said, nice to hear back from you. Okay, kindly let me know when you have it posted. They can contact my number directly. Okay, so here we go. If anyone is interested in this listing that I just posted, they're instructed to reach out to this guy, Rick, who is either the same guy as John Cook or John Cook's buddy. But nobody is going to be reaching out to either of them because I've already deleted both listings. But they don't know that. So what I do is I use this fake Facebook profile that I've just created and I name it Mike Raffone. And I send myself a Facebook message expressing interest in the property. I then take a screen grab of the conversation and I go back to John Cook and I say, somebody messaged me about the property. Except it was me who messaged me. And of course he just wants me to pass them along to Rick, but then I send a message back to myself saying, who is Rick? And then I pass that over to John Cook to get a response. And he says, the owner of the property, kindly call or text Rick for more details and application process. Okay, let's take a timeout and map this out for you because it's a bit complicated. And I'm going to use an AI tool to help you visualize. We have a realtor named John Cook who has recruited Ben Dover to post the house that is owned by a guy named Rick. And now we have Mike Raffone who is talking to Ben Dover because he's interested in the house. But John Cook tells Ben to tell Mike to contact Rick. This is quite a web that we spun for each other, and it's about to get a lot more tangled. And creating all these fake profiles means I'm creating a lot of accounts and passwords. But that's okay because Aura is helping me keep track of these accounts and passwords with its easy-to-use app that contains a password manager. They're also sponsoring this video. Aura's easy-to-use app helps me generate strong and complex passwords when I set up new accounts, and it remembers them for me when I need to sign in on a browser or on my mobile device. Using the same password twice is just asking for trouble, and that's why you need a good password manager. And that's just one of the many features that you're getting with Aura. It's identity theft protection, fraud monitoring, antivirus, and even a VPN all in a single app. And Aura not only gives you identity theft insurance, but it notifies you if your email, passwords, or social security number has been found leaked on the dark web. You can even connect your bank accounts and get notified of suspicious transactions. It's absolutely worth seeing what kind of info of yours has been leaked to the dark web, and Aura will tell you. You'll probably be shocked, like I was. And you can try for free and see for yourself when you sign up for a 14-day trial at my link at aura.com/pleasantgreen. Get yourself some peace of mind when you're browsing the internet and see who's been using your data. Go visit my link and try it out today. So I go back to being Mike and I do what I was told and I contact Do Rick. I say, "Is this Do?" And he says, "Yes, this is Do Rick." I say, "I am interested in the house on Delrose Drive." And Do says, "Thanks for your interest in renting my house. It gives me great joy to know that you are interested in my lovely house. When would you like to schedule for a show at the property?" Well, he sounds like a lovely person. I say, "When are you available?" He says, "The house is available for self-tour." And I'm like, "So do I not meet up with you to take the tour?" And he says, "My initial plan was to sell the house, but the agent was not honest with me. He cheated on the tenant by getting higher rent from them and never delivered the money to me. We need a responsible person that can take very good care of it, as we are not after the money. I am not dealing with the agents anymore. They are bad people. This is why I'm handling the rent by myself. You deal with me directly." Okay, what? "The house is available for tour today. Can you come check the house today?" And I said, "Sure." A little about myself. I currently got a permanent job in Texas, biomedical engineers. I was working as a medical doctor here in the state, but I finally lost my job on the month of January 18th, 2016, due to the accident I had during the heavy snow. The accident which almost destroyed most part of my body, especially my legs. I wasn't aware that Texas was a place that got heavy snow. Anyway, why is he telling me all this? I thank God today that I am still alive and can at least walk again, but I can't talk very well because the shock are still in my body according to my doctor. The best way I can communicate is through writing, but I believe with God all things are possible. I have the faith in Him that I will be healed perfectly as just a matter of time. Cool story, bro. I said, "I'm sorry to hear about the accident. What kind of doctor were you?" And he dodges the question and he says, "I will give you access to the keys in the lockbox so you can view the house from the inside if you are ready to view the house today." Okay, what's this guy got up his sleeve? He gives me a link to rently.com or the home that I, acting as bent over, posted on Facebook. And Do says, "Once you check the house and you are satisfied, you get back to me so we can move forward with the necessary paperwork." Okay, this is something that I've never seen before. Rently.com is a legit website, and apparently you can list a home here with a lockbox that anyone can access and give themselves a self-tour if they are registered on the site. They get a code and they're able to unlock the door, and then they're put in touch with the owner. But Do makes very sure to let me know that I need to contact him directly after seeing the property. So here is what I think is happening. Homeowners are posting their homes on Rently, but scammers are acting like they are the owners. So they'll get your attention with a Facebook ad, and then they'll get you to go take a virtual tour of the home. Then they get you to pay them instead of the actual homeowner because they're the ones you've been talking to the whole time. That's pretty messed up. Now, I'm not gonna fly to Louisville and take a self-tour, but I'll pretend that I did. So later that night, I write Do back and I say, "Looks good to me." Then he says, "I'm glad you like the properties. Can we move forward with the necessary paperwork now?" So he sends me over an application and a questionnaire from the Homeowners Association USA. The questions are stupid and redundant, but I fill them out with a bunch of BS, and then I scan the documents, then I upload them both to a Google Drive link, and then I create an email that looks like I'm sharing a Google Drive folder with Do Rick. But I replace the hyperlink on the open button with my own redirect link. Now this is a link that I created at grabify.link, and it will alert me when someone clicks on it. It will also tell me the IP address of whoever clicks on it, and from that, I will know where in the world they are. Because I have a hunch that they're not really in Louisville, Kentucky, or Texas. But hey, let's find out. Hey, it worked. And he doesn't even know that I just tricked him because he responds and he says, I just received your email now. I want you to know that my spirit is willing to rent my house to you because you sounds responsible and God-fearing to me. I will like you to go ahead and make the first month and deposit to enable the shipment of the keys with all the necessary paperwork to your current address by FedEx Mail Delivery Services in no time. I knew it. Do Rick wants Mike Raffone to pay him instead of the actual owner of the home. Well, that's not going to happen. So I, Mike Raffone, say to Do Rick, okay, I'll send it to the guy on Facebook. And I know that that will throw a wrench into the whole scam because neither Agent John Cook or Do Rick want this fool Bendover to receive the money. So Do speaks up. He says, I'm the owner of the property. Remember, you were to deal with me directly. But I'm gonna make him sweat a little bit, and I say, the guy on Facebook said to send it to him. And Do says he works for me as an advertising manager. He is not the owner of the house. And I'm like, you two work it out, not my problem. You were to deal with me directly, is that clear? He is just my advertising manager. He is just my advertising manager. He is just my advertising manager. And then Do panics and eventually calls me to make sure that I don't send any money to his advertising manager.
I said, this is Do Rick on the line, the owner of the house. You want to rent?
Yeah, but the guy on Facebook told me to pay him.
No, you are not to pay the guy on the Facebook. I'm the owner of the house. The guy on the Facebook is just working for me as an advertising manager. If you pay to the guy on the Facebook, you're not going to get the keys to the house.
I already paid him though.
No, you are not to pay him. You are meant to pay me. If you pay him, you are not going to. Remember, I told you in the first instance, I don't use them just to do me directly.
Yeah, but he has my money.
You already paid him?
Yeah.
Can you send me a proof that you paid him?
You'll have to take it up with him. I paid the guy on Facebook.
I can take it up from him. He works for me as an online advertising manager.
Yeah, but he works for you, so you two work it out.
There's no way I'm gonna work it out with him. I told you that already. I told you to deal with me directly.
Well, he's got my money, so he's the one that you should be talking to, not me.
Send me a proof that you paid him.
I don't have proof. Take it up with him.
You should have the proof that you paid him.
This is so dumb. Just talk to him.
So now Do is freaking out that Bendover just received the $900. So he reaches out to Bendover to ask if Mike mistakenly sent me the money. And I say, yes. And I know he wants proof, so I quickly Photoshop a Zelle confirmation email of me receiving $900 from Microphone. And now John Cook is freaking out because the guy that he hired just got a hold of his money. He said, hello, I heard that a tenant mistakenly made payment to your address. Well, it wasn't a mistake, but I said yes. He tells me to keep $300 and send the other $600 to a Zelle address. He then gives me a phone number and an account holder's name. And this is what scam baiters work so hard to get. These names are the most critical pieces of the puzzle because they're the ones that collect the money from the victims and move it to the scammers overseas. And more often than not, these mules don't even know what they're doing. They could think that they're employees, like Bendover, or they could be in an online relationship and are just doing favors for their lovers. So now I'm gonna try and reach out to this Michelle person and see for myself. But she doesn't answer the phone. So I text her and I say, Michelle, I am supposed to Zelle you money. And she responds and says, who is this? And I say, I'm trying to rent a house and a guy from Nigeria told me to send you the money. And she says, it's a scam, sorry. Oh, really, Michelle, you think? So I say, so why are you collecting money for him? And she plays dumb. She says, I'm not. Have no idea how they got my information. So then I just send screenshots of my text with these scammers where they give me her name and her phone number. How in the crap are you gonna explain this one, Michelle? But she seems totally confused. She's asking what name he went by and what his phone number is, and I'm starting to lean towards believing that this woman is just doing work for the scammer that she thinks is legit. But I warn her and I tell her that she's likely involved in money laundering and that she probably needs to have a conversation with this guy that she receives money for. I show her the full conversation and even the IP address proving that he's in Nigeria. And I think that I've probably rocked her world with this news, and so I'm not gonna push any further. But I'm pretty sure that she's suspicious now and is going to think twice about moving money for these scammers in the future. So now Bendover writes back to Do and says, I called her and she said it's a scam. And he said, "What do you mean? This is not a scam. Money was sent to you and you are saying it's a scam? Kindly remove $300 part payment and send the rest $600 to the Zelle. Is that clear?" And then I said, "What are you doing in Nigeria?" "What do you mean with all you are sending? Send the money before I get you arrested. I think the only person that is in danger of getting arrested here is Michelle." But I say, "No, I'm going to buy myself something nice." And Do really thinks I have $900. So then he writes back to Mike and chastens him for listening to Bend Over instead of him. He says, "I warned you. See who you sent the money to? I told you this people are not honest." Well, now who's he calling dishonest? I say, well, at least he's not a scammer in Nigeria. And I hit him with the IP info to let him know that he's been caught. And then to rub it in, Bendover writes to Do and says, "Me and Mike are going to go out and party and spend it all." And now John and Do have gone quiet, and they're probably left wondering how these two guys managed to get the best of them. And hopefully the next time they try and get money from someone, their mule Michelle will have some reservations about helping them. So we've wasted their time, we've spooked their mule, and hopefully we've broken their Hawala system of moving money, which is basically what scam baiting is all about. So watch out for this rental scam, and if you see it, get these guys tangled up like I did and make them see that they need to go find a better way to make their money. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you had fun, and I will see you next time. So here's a wild story for you. A few weeks back, I got an email from a guy named Kabir. Okay, that's actually not his real name, but that's what we're gonna call him for the sake of this video. You'll find out why a little later on. And his email said, "I am an Indian scammer, and I scam people saying I work for Amazon. Last night I talked to a lady whose son passed away a week ago. I didn't want to scam her, so I refused, but my boss said he would not let me go if I don't scam her. I tried leaving the office forcefully, but he stopped me when I tried calling the cops. He broke my phone and I scammed the lady for $600. But I feel bad. I can do anything to repay her the money. I need your help." And you thought you had a bad day at the office. Anyway, I had no idea if this was legit or if this was just some 14-year-old kid in Georgia pulling my leg. So I said, click this link to prove you're in India. And this was a link that I created that would grab his IP address if he clicked on it. And to my surprise, he did, and it put him right in the heart of India. I thought, okay, this is interesting. I said, maybe we can raise some money to help that lady you scammed. Who is she? And he said her name was Carol or something like that. And I said, well, let's see what we can do to help her. I thought if Kabir and I could work together, then maybe we could raise some money and help this poor lady out. But the way that I make money is by exposing scams. He said, "Do you want my WhatsApp number?" So then we started chatting. We got to know each other a little bit and how he got into this line of work. He talked about how he wanted to be in the Air Force, but the system is corrupted. He talked about how they pay the cops to look the other way. He said, "I want to tell you why I am helping you. I want to make my parents proud." And that's when it struck me that all these scammers deep down inside have some good in them.
I know there is good in you.
We just gotta pry it out of them.
You were right about me.
So Kabir starts telling me how the scam works. Scammers will buy email lists and blast out a fake email to thousands of people. And the email is designed to look like it's from Amazon. It says the customer ordered a really expensive item that's going to be shipped to a random address in Florida. The recipients of the email will think that somebody has hacked their Amazon account, and the email gives instructions to cancel the order by calling them up.
Thank you for getting connected to Amazon customer service. This side John Mayer. How may I help you?
And most people will just think that the email is spam and delete it, but there's one demographic that falls for it nearly every time. The elderly.
Hi, my name is Sharon, and I got an email stating that I had placed an order and that it was being shipped to Florida.
The scammers will go on to tell the victim that somebody has hacked into their Amazon account and they need to apply a refund to their bank account.
And if something got charged to you, we would be refunding you the money back as well.
And the way they tell the victim that they're going to apply the refund is by connecting to their computer and having them run screen control software like AnyDesk.
Quick support from the search bar and type in AnyDesk. AnyDesk.
They then walk them through the process, which allows the scammer to see and control their screen.
Yeah,
Right.
just click on accept. Yeah, click on accept, allow.
Once they have access to the computer, they instruct the victim to log into their bank account.
Go to your browser and log into your online banking for the SunTrust Bank.
And this may seem weird, but the scammers will groom and flirt with their victims to keep them at ease.
I literally tell you one thing. I really like your voice. How old are you?
Thank you. I am almost 74. I'm currently 73.
Seriously?
On May 14th, I'll be 74.
And they will make the victim think that they've issued a refund by making an edit to the site's HTML. And they make the victim think that they accidentally issued them too much and that they need to Zelle the scammers back the difference or pay them in gift cards.
So what you need to do, ma'am, you just need to go and get 3 eBay cards. Just write down.
I have to buy 3 eBay cards?
Right.
And this happens every day.
It was a remote access heist costing them about $25,000.
So we thought maybe we could intercept some of these calls before people lose it all. So Kabir began to send me the names of victims who were in the process of being scammed. But either we couldn't get their number or we couldn't get them to pick up the phone while they were being scammed. And sometimes they would pick it up without knowing that we could hear them on the phone with their bank.
It'll probably clear tomorrow, and then you can follow the evening.
We were too late, and we realized that what we were doing wasn't working. We weren't saving anybody, and it was taking up way too much time. So that's when I decided we needed to play some offense, and we needed to enlist the help of an expert. Someone who knows a thing or two about taking it to Indian scam centers. Someone with some real technical expertise. I'm talking about Jim Browning. If you don't know Jim Browning, he exposes scamming on his YouTube channel and he has over 3 million subscribers. He's a technical genius. He knows how to get inside the scammers' computers and really shake things up. And scammers fear him. They look under their beds at night for Jim Browning. And I thought maybe, just maybe, he'd be able to help us out. And to my surprise, Jim said yes. So Jim asked if there was any way that Kabir could plant a file on one of the computers in the call center. The file would run quietly in the background of the computer and give Jim total access and allow us to see what they were doing. This way we could possibly collect customer information more quickly and warn the victims. But only if Kabir was comfortable with this. It was a crazy plan, but Kabir agreed. So we had to think of the cleanest way to install this file. A flash drive would draw too much attention, and so we needed to provide Kabir a link where he could simply download the file. Kabir could then find an opportunity when an agent was away, sit at his computer, click the link, run the software, and then get the heck out of there before he got caught. This is Jason Bourne type of stuff. So Kabir waited for the perfect opportunity to strike. We just left it up to him for when he felt comfortable. And within a few days, he sent me this text. Come online fast. I said, what? 2 minutes, will be installed. And I thought, holy crap, it's really happening.
Oh my God, okay, it's happening.
But then he sent me another text. Tell him to accept. Then he sent me a picture of the screen, and Kabir didn't have permission to download the file. Jim had forgotten to grant him access. Kabir said, send with permission, bro, I don't want them to suspect. Crap, I said, I gotta get a hold of Jim. Please, make it fast. I thought, this can't be happening, so I start messaging Jim, but he's away from his computer. I said, I'm trying, I don't know where he is. Tell him to make it fast. I said, how much longer can you hold? I don't know, how long will it take? I don't know, he isn't responding. Bro, call him, please. I said, if we need to abort, we can. I don't want to abort. I need to get out of this shit. And just when we were about to abort the mission, Jim appears online. Jim finally grants permission and the file downloads and Kabir gets the heck out of there. Soon enough, Jim then tells me he's got a connection. He can see everything they're seeing. He has their IP address. He can see the contents of their hard drive. The operation was a success.
You crazy son of a bitch, you did.
Kabir said, don't tell him to type anything, just watch. They are live and getting calls. It's an agent's computer. Tell him to watch them scam. For now. So we said okay, and for several hours, Jim and I just watched to understand how the scam worked. Calls would come in, and scammers would attempt to remote into their computers to give them a refund. Luckily today, most of the callers would just get suspicious and hang up. I thought, well, what if we called them up and put some fear into them? We were now in their system, but we didn't know the phone number for the computer that people were calling into. But we did know the phone numbers of the victims calling in. So I just decided to call one of them up and ask them for it. Do you happen to have that number just so I can take it?
I do. Yeah, it's a 1-800 number.
Okay.
1-800-920-33.
Okay, that's helpful. Thanks so much. Okay, now we could call up the agent using this computer, but I thought that's not really my specialty. I don't do that. I should get someone who actually does this for a living. And I thought of Pierogi from Scammer Payback.
Hi, I'm calling regards to you all reaching out about a $400 order.
Pierogi is an amazing scam baiter, and he does it all day, every day on Twitch and YouTube. So Jim and I reached out to him and he agreed to come on board. We thought, let's just call them up and test the waters a bit.
Sir, on your computer, do you have a browser called Google Chrome?
I do. How did you know that?
Sir, every Windows computer has Google Chrome, sir.
Oh, okay. I always heard that Google Chrome's had more viruses on it, but I might be wrong. Okay.
It depends. It depends, sir, the kind of websites you visit on that browser.
Oh, well, I don't visit those types of websites, if you know what I mean. I know you might, son, but not me. I get plenty of action.
No worries, sir. So can you open a new page for Google Chrome?
Yes, I'm on my Googles.
So we eventually just hung up. We didn't want to do anything too crazy. We thought things need to calm down a little bit over there. We would try again later. But later never came. When the day ended, the computer shut down and they never came back on. And we wondered what happened. So I checked in with Kabir. I said, do you have any information on what's going on in that center? He said, yes, nothing big will be solved tonight. And I said, what do you mean? Are they having technical problems? Yes, but nothing big. So no scamming tonight? Yes. Give me an hour. So apparently they're having some technical issues. An hour came and went, and we still saw no connection. In fact, nearly a week came and went, and we still saw no connection. What was going on? And then I got this text. Bro, they know. They think I was the one who has the remote. What? They found the software? That's impossible. I said, I'm confused. You in trouble? And I didn't hear from him for like a few hours. Until later that day when I decided to check in on him again. He said, Kaun hai tu. Okay, why is he talking in Hindi to me? I take this over to Google Translate and it reads, who are you? That's when it hit me. This wasn't Kabir. Then he starts calling me, but I don't dare answer. He texts me again in Hindi. If you do not get the call, then find your friend in the Yamuna River. Holy crap, they've kidnapped him and stole his phone. And they start calling me again and again. More texts come in. Are you from the crime branch? More Hindi. Then he starts speaking English. Your spy is with me. What is the software in my computer? My technical team said it is not good that you are watching my computer. Oh my gosh, they have found the software. What is the software? What information do you have? My center is closed for 6 days. Well,